Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was just telling Senator DeWine I was going to associate myself with his very wise remarks.
On leave now.
So he's coming back.
Right.
But I want to do that and that of Senator Mikulski, as Congressman Chambliss has indicated. As usual, she has hit the nail on the head. And I also want to associate with the previous remarks the last couple of hearings by Senator Kyle, who has expressed concern about procedure, public hearings, a lack of focus on the very challenges that have been really prioritized, I think, so well by Senator Mikulski, but I'm not going to get into that today. All of you witnesses have stated, and I wrote this down when Senator Mikulski said, all right, let's quit looking in the past and playing gotcha, and let's look in the future in terms of not problems but challenges. What do you need? And you responded that you need, have a tremendous need for all-source, some kind of an all-source analytical center, which I think is understandable. You addressed the technology gap within the FBI as compared to our other intelligence community agencies. You emphasized the training and the retention of, the training, retention, and recruiting, I should have it in reverse order, of analysts, and that you certainly need better analytical resources. So I think we all agree you need strategic analytical ability and better predictive warning analysis. But my question is that your mission? It wasn't. Most of the questions you're getting, which are very specific, what did you know, when did you know it, what relationship did this have to 9/11, what I call the gotcha questions, and I'm not trying to perjure them. Well, I am a little bit, but you know, we'll leave that alone. But you didn't have that mission, and my question now: who has the responsibility in terms of a foreign threat? Is that the FBI? Is that the CIA? Is that the DIA? Certainly, it's the DIA in Afghanistan. Certainly, a foreign threat is still CIA. We'll have those people in a public hearing as of Thursday. And I don't know if you'd like to answer that or not in terms of your specific mission. How do we coordinate and find out who is really responsible in terms of the specific mission for the analytical capability that we should have? And that may be above your pay grade and mine.
Mr. Rollins, maybe you want to take a shot at that one.
I think the mission is expanded, and I think that goes to the heart of the resource. I'm not going to keep pounding on that because I think everybody has it. But the FBI still believes that we can, will, and should be the primary responders to acts of terrorism directed against this country, either internally or in terms of our ability to deploy overseas, Dar es Salaam, Nairobi, Khobar Towers, and the whole litany. We want to continue to do that, and we would hope that the American people and the Congress would have the confidence in our ability to do that. In terms of the document exploitation that you talk about in Afghanistan, that mission has not changed. We view that as force protection, followed by immediate threat to this country, followed by whatever intelligence we glean from within that system. And I would just like to make the one point that I don't think has been made, but should be made for the record. Prevention is not a new job one for the FBI. Not only has every mission statement led with prevention, but I would submit, now that we know about what the Ramsey Yousefs of this world do, the 14 we've indicted in Khobar Towers, the original World Trade Center bombers, those convicted in the Africa Embassy bombings, those are clear-cut law enforcement acts of prevention. Those people were going to kill Americans. There's no doubt in our mind. Look what Ramsey Yousef's plan was. If we don't continue to pursue and aggressively utilize the law enforcement tool of being able to apprehend, render, try, and convict these individuals, we lose a big part of prevention. And we'd like to stay in the business.
I think you should stay in the business. I have another question that is in reference to the catch-22 that I think you face and that everybody faces when they get questions from a committee like this, with what I will refer to again as a gotcha question, either by a leak or by specific information in regards that leads to a question that's more especially in a public hearing or even a classified hearing. There'll be some specific piece of information that's rather incendiary that will lead to a headline. You can't really respond, because if you respond in full context, pointing out that there is no relevance in regards to a smoking gun on 9/11, which seems to be the effort, or at least the insinuation, you can't do that because it's classified and you'll reveal a source and you simply are stuck. And I was trying to figure we have been trying to figure out how on earth that could be presented in a way that would be non-classified. And so about every second foggy night, we have something like in the Washington Post. It came out a day ahead of the interim report that was issued. No, it was on the hijacking report issued by the professional staff. I was in Kansas, and I didn't get a copy of this. My staff didn't get a copy of this, but it was in the Washington Post the day before. And as I say, about every Tuesday or every Thursday, we have one of these. How is your morale situation, the FBI, when this comes out again and again and again, and you can't respond, and yet we're trying to, it's like when you have a fire department, you call the fire department, the house is on fire, we're arguing as to whether the truck made the wrong turn or tied the hose to the wrong fire plug, and we're having an investigation when there's a fire. You're fighting a damn war. How is your morale situation down there?
I'd like to speak to that if I could. I think it's these agencies, the FBI, the CIA, the fuel of these agencies is morale. And unfortunately, we've been fairly demoralized in course of a lot of the reporting that's gone out there and our inability to fight back, for lack of a better words. Again, I think I said it in my testimony, the Bureau has some of the best analysts in the community. Unfortunately, they're tactical analysts and not strategic analysts. I think the Bureau agents are the hardest working people out there. That needs to be said. It needs to be recognized. September 11th was an incredibly tragic event, but it wasn't based on laziness. It was based on inadequate resources. And I think my colleague summed it up in saying that we need to stay in this business. We can do this job. Just give us the tools we need.
Well, my time has expired, Mr. Chairman. I would point out a year ago, last July, there was a hearing, Senator Shelby, Senator Stevens, Senator Warner, and our appropriate ranking members, where we invited 46 federal agencies in and said, are you ready? This is before 9/11. What's your mission? What do you really do? And who's in charge? Everybody said they were in charge. Now that's 80 federal agencies. We had at that time in the Senate 14 subcommittees and committees that allegedly had jurisdiction. Now between the House and Senate is 88. You talk about a need for streamlining and cooperation and some degree of direction. It's the United States Congress, it seems to me, that bears part of this responsibility. I don't speak for other members. I apologize to you. I think you're doing a great job. And I think some of this has been tremendously unnecessary and counterproductive. And you tell your people down there are some people on the Intelligence Committee that do believe in you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Very much appreciated, Senator.